So, it turns out that for a young teenager, there's a surprisingly low limit to the amount of unsupervised holiday decorating you can get away with doing to your parents' house. But now I'm a grown-up and I have a house of my own and I can do just about anything I want to it. I'm an extreme holiday decorator. I decorate for Christmas, Halloween, and the 4th of July. I've also won the coveted Christmas Spirit Award, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's a big cardboard sign that some kids in my neighborhood took and decorated and wrote Christmas Spirit Award on and stuck it in my front yard. But I don't just decorate. I create computer-controlled musical holiday light show experiences. You see, for most people, Christmas comes but once a year. But for me, it's always Christmas, and it's always Halloween, it's always 4th of July, because I'm always thinking about this stuff. In fact, if you look in the trunk of my car, pretty much any time of year, you'll probably find something festive in there. Because shopping for off-season deals on used lights and decorations is just one of the ways that I stretch my decorating dollar. I also make my own extension cords, and I'm always redesigning my layouts to make sure that not only am I making the best use of what I already have, but finding ways to work in new ideas. Like, for example, for the 4th of July show, I took some box fans, laid them on their back, took the grate off the front, zip-tied some styrofoam blocks to the fan blades so that and shoved some American flags in it, so when you turn the fan on, the flags spin round and round to the grand finale of Stars and Stripes Forever, and it's really awesome. But here's the nerdy part, excuse me. Here's the nerdier part. To do the synchronization of the lights and music, I use a system called Lightorama, where each string of lights or each spinning flag fan thing gets plugged into an outlet on a controller box. Each box has 16 outlets. I'm using 8 boxes. That's 128 channels I can control. And if you take a typical 3-minute song, break it down into tenths of a second or even 20ths of a second, and you multiply that by the 120, it's why, like, a lot of times when people ask me how you make the lights blink to the music, it's easiest to just say it's Christmas magic. So, just saves everyone a lot of time. So yeah, I put a lot of energy into this, but surprisingly, it doesn't take a lot of energy to run a show like this, because if you think about it, lights that are blinking on and off and on and off are actually off a lot of the time. So compared to a house where the lights are on the entire time, a blinking house could use as little as half of the electricity, which is great because less money spent on electricity is more money I can spend on other stuff, like maybe some Easter stuff. The problem is that I not only have so much stuff that it not only fills the storage shed at our house, but also most of the garage, what used to be the guest room, and a pretty good size off-site storage unit. Because the problem, in case you didn't know, the problem with always looking for more holiday decorations is that I'm always finding more holiday decorations, especially during the Christmas season for some reason, and so even if everything fit beforehand, it never all seems to fit back afterwards. But regardless of where I end up keeping it, the best thing is seeing people enjoying it. It's the kids who are crouching down and talking to the penguins, or it's the people who are counting how many pumpkins, or the woman who walks her dog every night and tries to time it so she's walking by during her favorite songs. One day I received a letter, an anonymous letter from somebody who was taking care of a family member with cancer, and she would stop by every couple of nights for a few minutes of happiness, and she wanted me to know that what I do really makes an impact on people's lives. Also, last October, my Halloween show blew up. Not literally, but 17,000 people on Facebook said they were interested in going, and by the end of October, 2,000 people said they had actually gone. We collect donations for charity. We raised over $700 for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Arizona. Thank you, right? I was on Channel 12 News, Channel 10 News, Channel 15 did a live stream and a story on their website that got picked up by news websites across the country. But there was one group of people who didn't love what I was doing and all the cars and occasional tour bus that would come through, and that's my neighbors. Many of whom started actually parking on the street so that if people coming from other parts of the town wouldn't have a place to park. One neighbor got some things stolen out of her unlocked car and blamed me. Another neighbor just came over to yell at me about how rude and inconsiderate I was. But look, I get it. Some people, there's lights, there's music, there's people. Some people don't like any of those, especially all 3 of them together. But what I do is not illegal. So my advice to you, if you end up living by someone like me, is be patient, be nice to them, maybe take them some cookies. That'd be nice. Just don't go out of your way to make their life miserable, because if somebody has the technical skills, the ingenuity, and the free time to do all of that, the last thing you want is for them to focus all that energy on making you miserable in return. I could so do that. But I don't do this to antagonize my neighbors or for the oohs and ahs or for the fancy cardboard awards. I do it for me, for my inner artist and inventor. I do it for the 13-year-old version of myself that got in trouble for nailing Christmas lights to the aluminum siding of my parents' house. Because despite all the time, the money, the neighborhood drama, and the occasional risk of electrocution, it's just a lot of fun.